God was speaking into my heart Psalms 5:3 earlier this week, and Psalms 5:3 said this. It's just a psalm of David, and it said this. It says, "Listen to my voice in the morning, Lord. Each morning I bring my request to you and wait expectantly." And that's what God gave me. I'm like, God, I mean, I've heard those and the whole waiting thing, and have expectation while you wait and pray. And on Christmas Eve we went. Joan Rose invited us over here. We went over there, and she gave me a video. She said, "Hey, God, I just really felt led to give you this video." And guess what the name of the video was? "Be still and wait upon the Lord." That's the name of the video. And so God, and I thought that was very comical to me because because God's already speaking to me about this, and then God told me this. He says, I want you to get back into. Sometimes we get into grooves and we get into things that we do all the time, and it loses its purpose and its power. And I can remember about 12 years ago, I was in a kind of a spiritual funk. You ever been in a spiritual funk where you just feel like your prayers always hit off the brassy heavens, and you don't really feel like maybe God's hearing you or answering you? And I went to a prayer group with this pastor friend of mine, and he said, "Hey, what after we prayed for like an hour and a half, he said, how do you feel? Did God speak to you?" And I said, "God didn't speak a darn thing to me." And I left there even more frustrated than I came. And as I was on my way home from that prayer meeting, God spoke these words to me. He said, "I want you to get up every single morning early and begin to pray." And so that started off about a 10-year thing of waking up at 5:30 in the morning and praying every morning. And then that kind of stopped about a year and a half ago when just having to be in construction, it was very hard to with everything else having to go on in the morning to get ready for work and to get kids off to school and everything. I began to see that, not being able to come to the church, and for me, I mean, that's just what I want to do, is come to the church and pray. It's kind of hard to get back in that rhythm, and so that kind of just faded away. And God reminded me, He says, "I want you to start that again, to just get up and early." I mean, I always get up early now when I read and stuff, but He said, "I want you to begin to get into that again, like you've never done before." And Lori, we went on a date on Friday, and she spoke in a non-about way. She spoke those very words right into my heart, and I didn't even tell her what God was speaking to me. She spoke those very words into my heart about, hey, she says, "Are you praying like you used to? Are you getting into that like you were?" I said, "No, God." I didn't say this, but I was thinking, all right, I'm getting up the point, and so I guess what I'm saying is I really truly believe that God is beginning to reignite and start stirring things up. And yesterday morning, Lori got all excited, and she said, "You have to read this." She's on a Twitter account thing, and one of the pastors that follows her and stuff wrote this thing, and it was talking about. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but the things that really stood out was because I'm not trying to prophesy, I'm not trying to speak, all that. But he says, "The Lord has been showing me." Good morning, Rosemary. The Lord has been showing me a tsunami, a spiritual tsunami, and he was saying that with this spiritual tsunami. And basically, if you ever remember the big tsunami several years ago with we were trying to India, wherever it hit. If you remember, what happened was all the water left. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of yards out it left, and then the powerful wave came in, and then God was showing me that like with this church, everything has left. But yet the powerful wave is coming in, and what are we going to do? Now, I know this is the last time we're going to meet this year, and it's already New Year's already. And I'm not a big New Year's resolution person. I'm not a big New Year's Eve person. I usually go to bed about 10 o'clock. I haven't seen the ball fall for so long, I don't even know what it looks like anymore. Because it doesn't matter to me. But this year, I'm still not going to make any resolutions because they last 2 weeks, and then we forget what the resolution was. But what I want us to do is say, God, what do you want me to change in my life? Not as a New Year's resolution, but because, God, I want to draw closer to you. God, what is it? You want me to wake up early and pray? You want me to stay up late and pray? You want me to... Whatever it is that he wants you to do. Because the thing of it is God's saying this. And he's been saying this to us for like two years now, 3 years. And it's a frustrating words is, I want you to wait. None of us likes to wait. I don't like to wait. I'm impatient for a lot of things, patient for some things. I mean, I can sit down and do a jigsaw puzzle. That to me is not, that's very relaxing to me. But you know, if you're in a traffic jam and it's moving at 0 miles an hour, that can be very impatient situation. If you're really hungry and the microwave is taking 1.3 minutes, that could be very impatient timing. I mean, so everybody has their own level of impatience and patience, but the fact of the matter is what about waiting on God? Are we patient or impatient? What about waiting on God to do the impossible? Maybe you've been one that's been waiting God for a miracle, and you've been waiting for God for an answer. Maybe you've been waiting for God for a healing or the breakthrough, or maybe you've been waiting on God to have a family member or a friend saved, and you've been waiting for a person to be set free from something, or maybe you've been waiting for this or waiting for that. And it seems like days go to weeks go to months, months go to years, and you're still waiting for the very same thing. And what happens? Well, I can only speak from my own experience. The waiting grows to impatience. The impatience often begins to stir and brew up frustration. The frustration sometimes brews up and creates a doubt. Doubting if God even cares about our prayers. Doubting if God even cares about our needs, our concerns. Doubting if God even cares about the burdens that we're carrying. Doubting if God even cares that we are carrying this burden, this cross. And the process that began with having an expectation, you know, as David did in Psalms 5, you know, I bring you my request every morning, and I wait with expecting, you know, all of a sudden that process of expectation slowly goes to hopelessness and a sense of giving up on the dreams that God has given you, giving up on the miracle, giving up on the breakthrough, giving up on the very burdens you've been bringing to the Lord. And if we're not careful, it easily goes back into God. Obviously, you don't care. So obviously, then our prayer life changes. Our expectations change. Our faith begins to change. But here's what God showed me when I was reading this. If you go back and you read in the Psalms of David, all the ones I can't say all the ones, but a lot of them. And if you just look right around Psalms 5, David what I love about David is this: he's just a real dude, right? He made mistakes. We all can relate. But the one thing that what's David known for? Well, he's known for, everybody says David, Goliath. But what's the other thing that when you say David, you hear simultaneously? Is that about God's eye? Heart after God, right? How? I mean, yeah. He was with Bathsheba. I mean, how could you have a heart after God? Because he's just a real person that made a mistake. He's down to earth. And he's honest. Hey, I made a mistake. But here, if you read David's Psalms, you begin to appreciate what he says. You know, just in the beginnings of Psalms 5, just in the beginning. Oh Lord, hear me as I pray. Pay attention to my groaning. Listen to my cry for help. David's in distress. And then what's he say in verse 3? I listen to my voice in the morning, and I wait in expectation. In the middle of his distress, he still has a heart of expectancy. Verse 4, answer me when I call to you, O God, who declares me innocent. Free me from my troubles. So this guy, David, he's going through hardships just like you and I go through. He's not exempt from trouble. He's not exempt from groanings and moanings. He's not exempt from hardships. Chapter 6, O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your rage. Have compassion on me, for I'm weak. Heal me, O Lord, for my bones are in agony. He's been seeking a healing. He's been seeking, it says right there in verse 3 of chapter 6, I'm sick at heart. I'm telling you, man, he's going through things. David, a man after God's own heart, is going through things. Chapter 7, I come to you for protection, O Lord. My God, save me from my persecutors. Rescue me. So once again, what are we seeing? People coming against him. People giving him accusations. Maybe his life's being threatened. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe that, maybe this. The fact of the matter is he's just a real dude that has real problems that are nothing more than what we go through. But he never gave up on his expectation. David never gave up on the expectation. He never let his enemies, he never let his wife. Now, the reason why I say this is because remember when he was dancing and he took off his clothes dancing? I mean, hey, whatever. And what does his wife say? Remember what his wife said? What are you doing? You're embarrassing. That's a paraphrase. He's like, hey, I don't care what you think. I'm dancing. I'm going to worship the Lord my God, no matter what it looks like. You see, I appreciate that. Because I can't sing like a great singer, and I can't play an instrument, and I know I don't sound good at all. But the worship I do give up, he happens. So I appreciate Dave. I appreciate his exuberance, his love for God. I appreciate everything he's doing, he has done, and he had a heart of expectancy. That's why he could go to the battlefield against Goliath and have victory with picking up 3 stones. Really? The dude's 9 feet tall. You pick up 3 stones and then slingshot. Say, I got this. Nobody else wanted to even touch it because they were afraid. And yet he had no fear because he knew that God was there. Expectation. Do you think David went into that battle with no expectation? You think he went in and I'm dying. I'm done. There's no hope. No, that's what all of his brothers were saying. That's what the king was saying. But David said, no. I believe in the Lord my God. I believe that we can have victory. His expectation went further than when his eyes could see what others were telling him. And let's face it, I don't know about you, but if you hang around a bunch of no-sayers, what does it do to you? It kind of begins to bring you down a little bit. If people around you begin to challenge your faith, it begins to wear it down a little bit and until you get encouraged back up, until you begin to build it back up. I guess what I'm getting to the point is this. If he was upset with God, David, he told him, God, I'm upset. If he was mad, he said, God, I'm mad. If he felt fearful, God, I'm afraid. If he felt that, he just told God what he felt. There's nothing worse than lying to God, as a lot of Christians do. We do that. You know, and I hate it. I tell you now, I hate it when people come up to me, oh, I'm good. I don't need prayer. I'm not sick. Yeah, you are sick. Listen to yourself. You can't even breathe. It's okay to be honest with where you're at. I was just honest with you to say, look, man, God's called me to begin to pray like I never prayed before. Does my schedule accommodate that? Not really, but you know what? Like my wife said, quit making excuses and just go for it. So we love to make excuses, don't we? I'm just being honest, I made excuses. But we need to quit making excuses and go for it. You know, I love this one too. So I'm going to be eating a lot of candy, man. Aaron was so generous for Christmas, he gave me this whole wherever he had. Appreciate it. But anyway, but the thing of it is we need to come to this point and place where we just have an expectation. And it doesn't matter what the past said. It doesn't matter what reality states. I mean, when Phil Robinson was kicked off the show, he just said, oh man, my life is over. He said, hey, whatever you want to do, I don't care. I'm going forward. I'm standing my ground. When David went to the battle with Goliath, Goliath laughed at him. David said, oh man, he laughed at me. I'm going home now. He said, no, I stand my ground. You can laugh all you want to. You can make fun of me all you want to. But I'm standing on the promises of God. That's what David did. We're going into a new year. We can go and we can just say, oh, and I look, man, I've been down this road. Oh, look what this done to us. Look who this. We can sit there all day long and moan and groan about what this person or this group or this or that has done to us. Or we can say, no, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice. I'm going to be glad in it. I'm going to worship God. I'm going to give Him the praise. And I'm going to have an expectancy today. That's what David said. I expect today. And guess what's going to happen? What's going to happen if you're expecting something today and it doesn't happen? What are you going to do tomorrow? You going to give up? You can say, oh, God, I don't care. Or you can say, no, God, here's a new day. Here's my request. Here's my heart. I'm a little bit mad today, praise God. I'm a little bit frustrated today, hallelujah. But here am I. The real deal. Here am I. Now I'm expecting something. Why lie about it? There's nothing worse than God. Oh, God, I'm not mad. But deep down in your heart, you're just burning up with frustration. Be honest with them. He already knows your heart. He already knows what you're thinking. He already knows your heart condition. If Dave was upset, he said, I'm upset. If he was happy, he said, I'm happy. Going back to verse 3 of chapter 5. Each morning I bring my request to you and wait expectantly. It says, God, I'm telling you, yesterday morning when my wife and I were sharing with each other things that God was speaking into her and through her and showing her, and I was sharing, there was such a stirring in my spirit like I haven't had in a long time. And it was a stirring in her spirit like she's had in a long time. And we ask ourselves all the time, God, what are you doing? God, when are you going to do the breakthrough? Just like maybe you've been asking yourself, God, I want a breakthrough. And you know what? I don't know. But guess what? This morning I woke up, and how many of you are in routines, whether you want to admit it or not, you get in a routine. I got myself in a routine, and guess what? If you do the same routine, you probably get the same results. You know? I changed my routine this morning. And do you ever get yourself in a routine, and then you try to change it, you feel it calling you? Hey, you should be over there doing this, or you really need to check your emails, or you really need to, check this, do that, whatever, however. I think, no, I don't care. Nobody emails me anyway, unless you're a salesman. Nobody emails, so it's okay if I don't click delete. It's going to be there when I get home. It'll be there tomorrow. But the fact of the matter is I still had to change the mindset. And I'm telling telling you, God is stirring something. And this morning, we're going to spend a lot of time in worship. You say, well, what about praise songs? What about these songs? Who cares about the song? I'm telling you, we're just going to have an atmosphere to worship God. I had somebody come up to me one time in church and said, you don't play my favorite song. This isn't a radio station where you call in your requests. This is a worship service where we worship the Lord. Needless to say, she got mad at me. But the fact of the matter is this. If I can only worship God on the songs I love, I'm not really worshiping God. God is asking us to enter into a place where you get along with God. Whether it's here, there, where, I don't care. Because God never says you have to kneel down to get a hold of Him. He never said you have to stand up to get a hold of Him. He said, man, just get in your closet and get along with me and grab a hold of me and see what I want to do. See what I want to say. I want you to see. I want you to experience. I want you to hear and have a heart of expectation. That you want to come and start maybe playing a little bit. Now look, I want to share this with you. When David said these words, listen to my voice in the morning, Lord. Each morning, I bring my request to you and wait expectantly. David isn't demanding God's grace, but he's putting his hope in God's grace. There's a difference. He's not demanding God's grace. God, you better or else. He's saying, God, I'm putting all I have, all I am into your grace, into you. God, I'm trusting you. There it is. And sometimes David didn't get his answer immediately, but he still had a heart of expectation. He still put his hope in God's love, in His grace, in His mercy. Look, we're all on separate journeys. We all have our own journeys, and yet we all have some of the same journeys. Here's the deal. It doesn't matter what your journey, what road you're on, we have the same God. And His love covers it all. His grace covers it all. It doesn't matter what road you're on. It doesn't matter if your struggle is freedom or soul saved or financial or a miracle or healing. It doesn't matter. It's the same God. And it's the same expectancy. It needs to be laid out before the Lord God. I have a heart of expectation today. We need to learn to press through what our flesh wants. Keep our eyes focused on the Lord, having a heart of expectation, and sometimes when our initial expectation that we have before God might change, because it could be our expectation, not the heart of God's expectation. Isn't that going to change? So let's have a heart of praise, and a heart of expectation this morning. I don't care. If you've been praying for the same thing for days, weeks, months, or even years, today I want you to have a new sense of expectation that God's going to do it for you. It's okay to express to God this morning, God, I'm frustrated. God, I've been praying for the same thing for years. Nothing's happening. It's okay to be honest with God. Let it out, because as you let it out, man, healing takes place. And joy will start coming in. And I'm going to stop with this. Isaiah 41:10 says this. Don't be afraid, for I'm with you. Do not be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. God hasn't failed you. He's with us. He's present. He has a promise for you. We don't need to fear. And when we don't fear, that fear will be eliminated. And when that fear is eliminated, we have a new sense of hope. With a new sense of hope, we have a new sense of expectation. a new sense of expectation. It's going to cause a new sense of joy and excitement. Because, man, today is a day, God, oh God, what are you going to do? How many of you get excited on Christmas morning? Oh, into this box. Come on, you already know what's in the box. But there's still a sense of little excitement, right? If you know, I mean, kids especially, right? Why can't we be like that with God every day? God, what are you going to do today? Oh, man. God, what are you going to do today? It's exciting. And guess what? When you have a heart of expectation, I knew I said I was going to say right here. When you have a heart of expectation, and you're looking for the hand of God, when you're looking for God to use you and work through you, guess what? Your expectation that you start out with the day, God might say, look what I did for you. Look how I used you.